Welcome to today's webinar, which is going to focus on how to unlock efficiency and security with ShareFile's virtual data room subscription level. So today we're going to cover some common VDR use cases. Then we'll go over the ShareFile VDR offering and a basic overview of that. Then we'll see what a typical VDR workflow looks like. And then I'm going to run through a live demo of how you can use ShareFile virtual data room to securely collaborate during mergers and acquisitions and other VDR use cases. And hopefully at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A if you guys have questions. So some common VDR use cases include, basically ShareFile's data room allows customers to easily protect and share sensitive documents that are stored or distributed during confidential transactions. This can happen during activities like mergers and acquisitions, performing due diligence, fundraising activities, initial public offerings, and probably some other use cases that we haven't listed here. And ShareFile's VDR offering allows us to basically take advantage of all of the safety and security that ShareFile has to offer. And we've added some additional capabilities to support the VDR world. This includes features like e-signatures, adding terms and conditions, view-only access for the client users, watermarking to protect the documents, data room indexing for ease of navigation, folder Q&A, so questions around the items inside of a folder. And we also offer click trails to really dive into the client interactions with the data inside of a VDR system. And we have some advanced analytics to keep track of what's going on inside of the system itself. With that, we're going to hop into the typical VDR workflow. So, your steps might differ a little bit from these that are shown here, but in a general sense, you'd basically begin by creating the data room structure, which we use our admin console to get that accomplished. Then you'd have your buyers sign an NDA, so we could use our e-signature tool for that. And then you would provide buyer access. So basically this would equate to our client portal. So creating client users and then giving them access to the ShareFile client portal. When the users eventually log into the system, they're going to have to accept our terms and conditions. And then once they're in the system, we give them access to various folders and objects in the folders, which we can protect with view-only permissions, watermarking. And we also have the opportunity to add folder Q&A and the site index as well. And then after some time, we have activity that's being logged by the system. The seller is actually able to see click trails and advanced analytics around the activities that are happening inside of the system. And then the due diligence process can move forward. So that's kind of how it's designed to work at a high level. Let's take a look at the system to sort of see how easy and quick it can be to set up your own VDR system with inside of ShareFile. So let's go ahead and break out of the PowerPoint here. And let me into my ShareFile. So you should see here in the front screen now, we have Project Plaid. So Project Plaid is acquiring Project Polkadot. We're going to log in as an admin to the system right now, and you can see that it's all custom branded by myself here, and it has our corporate logo and our partners here. So I'll go ahead and log in. And the system is all custom branded, so those settings are easy to configure. It takes maybe 10 minutes to get this all accomplished. You would go into account and reporting, edit company branding, and then we can basically hit this little link here to see some detailed options about what do we want this environment to look like. The overall look and feel, it's relatively easy to add various parts and pieces to it. So for the header, I was able to grab a background image of the plaid. We can use the text color to change the text fonts and everything along the border here. And we have some page options and some login page options. So everything that happens within this environment is fully custom branded so that it looks like it's being represented by our company and not just, ShareFile kind of generically. Now that we have our environment just sitting there waiting for clients to join, we're going to have to add some people. So what we have here inside of ShareFile are two kinds of people. The employees are people who are typically internal to my organization, right? The people that work for Project Plaid, and they do consume paid licenses, and they are all listed here, and they have their own sets of permissions, etc. We also have the client users. So these are typically folks that are external to your organization, and maybe they're the people that are represented by Project Polkadot. So these are the folks that we'll be adding here in a moment to actually give access to the environment to begin, perusing the files and interacting with the environment as a whole. So let's go ahead and let's add some client records. I can add them individually if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to take advantage of the import feature here, where we can download a template spreadsheet and then upload the templated spreadsheet with all of the people that we want to be added. So I'll grab that file here, and we'll click Import Users. And we can see that I have now a list of about 5 users here that we're going to go ahead and add to the system. I'm going to click Create and Continue. And we don't have any folders created yet, so I'm not going to assign anything. We can just click Continue here. And now we have the opportunity to notify them of their addition to the account. So we can type in a customized message here if you'd like to. We'll click Notify. And now I have some client users. Okay. The next thing we might want to do is to make sure that we get our non-disclosure agreement signed. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into templates, and I'm going to find the Plaid non-disclosure agreement template that I have. And I'm going to choose to send this out as a signature request. The system will load up the document, and it'll ask me who I want to send it to. So I'm going to choose one of my clients that I just added. And I can type a nice note, please sign. And when this comes back, I'm going to have it go to the Project Plaid folder inside of ShareFile. And we don't need any security options here, and we don't need to set the expiration date to anything other than 30 days, but we could change these options if we wanted to. We do have the ability to add like a passcode here where you can enter a 5-digit code, or you can generate new ones on the fly. You would just need to get your client the passcode ahead of time so that they can unlock the document for signature. In this case, we're going to leave it at none, and we're going to send that out for signature. And now, if we take a look at the client perspective, the blue screen here is the client perspective. This is Bru's email. And we can see here that she's gotten the email that said, hey, Ben Bartel's added you to ShareFile. Let's stick to the one here that is talking about the signature request. So if we click on this, we can see that this is also custom branded. And all she has to do is basically read through the basic info around the signature request and click the button to review and sign the document. The system will ask her to agree to the terms that make this legally binding. So the terms of use, the privacy policy, and the e-sign consent. Once she agrees, she's off to the races and she's able to begin signing. We do have a box here where she must type in her name, and then she'll sign here. We do offer the opportunity to use typed or drawn signatures. And once we do that, we can click Add. And the date was auto-filled because I set those parameters for that during the template creation. So they don't have to worry about adding the date here. It's already filled out for them. So she's all done here. On the right-hand side, we can see that all 3 items have a green check. So she is ready to submit this document. And now we have our NDA signed by one of our clients. Now, from the client perspective, still, we're going to go ahead and set up the account for the client user. She got an email saying, Ben Bartel's added you to ShareFile. And it says, activating your account will allow you to create a password. So it gives them the basic information that they're going to need in order to set up their account with ShareFile. So we'll click the Activate Account button. It pulls in the information that it knows about this particular client because this is information that's inside of ShareFile already. And we click Continue. And then they have the opportunity, because I've set it up in this account, to either use a new ShareFile username and password here, or they could configure it to use Google as their authentication. So if they have a Google account and you want to make things easier for your clients, you could set this up and allow them to use Google to sign into ShareFile. I'll just create a ShareFile password here. And once we're all set, the client is able to log into ShareFile. Now they're not able to see anything yet because I haven't shared anything with them. So we're gonna hop back over to the admin console and do some more admin stuff. The first thing that I wanna do is create a group. I'm gonna create a distribution group for the Polkadot project. And I'm gonna share this distribution group with all the employee users. And now we'll just add users from Excel using that same file that I've shown previously. And now we have all the users added, and click Add Users, and now we have a group. So the next thing we need is some data, right? So we have the folders area of ShareFile, which will contain the various objects that we're going to be sharing. Inside of Project Plaid, you can see that I have that signed NDA here. So when Bruce signed that document, it actually came back to this folder. And in order to get my data into this folder structure, all I have to do is simply drag it and drop it from my local machine. So I have a folder structure set up already. I'll just choose all of these items and I'll drag them into well, it looks like my browser doesn't want to take that. All right, so let's go. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Here we go. So now I should be able to drag and drop. And it takes a few seconds, but we're gonna have all of the items here inside of ShareFile. And once it's all done, loading up the documents, we can start to sort of add some administrative controls over this. So now that the data is imported, let's say that we wanted to actually make sure that all of this is watermarked. Inside of our settings here, if you go to the admin settings, we can take a look at the, let's see here, it's under advanced preferences, file settings, and down here we can set up the watermark for this account. So in this scenario, I'm enabling watermarking for the entire account. I've put in a custom message here, but I'm also bringing in some information that the system knows about the user who is logged into ShareFile and viewing that document. So this dynamic text will change based upon the user that's logged in. And we decided basically that we can choose whether or not we want to enable the watermark downloads for the view only. So basically this just determines whether users with the view only permissions will be given the option to download the documents. We're gonna say no to that. Okay. So the other thing that I want to do before I start inviting users into the folder is I want to go ahead and create a data room index file. So this will basically map out the entire folder structure and all of its contents. And I'm going to download a PDF so that now all of my employee users will have access to this, but my client users won't. So I'm just going to give them a file that they can look at. So I'll download that, and then I will go ahead and upload that into the folder. And now I have the site index here that anybody that has access to the folder is now going to be able to see, so they can see all of the items that are located inside of the folder structure. We can also add Q&A. So I started this off already. I think I have a question in here. So this is a place where communication can go back and forth between the admins, the employee users, and the client users around questions that may come up over the course of time here. It's pretty simple. You're able to manage the questions this way. You're able to add questions. You can just quickly add whatever question you'd like to add here. And you can add answers, hopefully spelling it correctly, right? And I can make this public. Whoops. I can make this public, and I can make it sticky, which means it'll stay at the top of the list here. We'll go ahead and just, let me try to spell some stuff correctly today. There we go. So there we go, new question and new answers. And now we have Q&A set up for the folder itself. I believe it's time that we shared this out with some folks. So let's go back into the project Plaid. And the way you add people to a folder is to just go to the folder in question and click the People tab. I'm going to go ahead and now click Add People to the folder. And I can add users individually here, but I did create the Polkadot project group. So I'm going to add the whole group here. And I'm going to make sure that I'm giving them the proper permissions here. I don't want them to have upload, and I don't want them to have download. I want them to have view-only access. And I'm not going to email users when files are uploaded, but I do want to make sure that I apply these settings to all the subfolders, and I'm going to notify the users when they get added. So just go ahead and click Add here. And now we can see that Polkadot project has now been added as a group of users to this folder, and they're going to be able to see view-only access for all of the various items in the folder. So it should have cascaded down to here. So we take a look at here on the 5 legal folder, which is a subfolder of the project Plaid folder. They're listed there as well. So the permissions have cascaded down to the subfolders. And let's see here. So now we've given everybody access to the folders. Let's take a look back at the client perspective again. So I'm going to pull up the client screen here and give it a quick refresh. Keep in mind, though, that the clients are being notified about certain things that are happening inside the environment. So she was notified that her document got signed. Now she's also been notified that I was sharing a folder with her, and she can click on this button to get access to the portal and go to the folder. So if your clients can get into their emails, usually they're able to get into the system. This does require them to be able to log in, but hopefully they can get past that hurdle without too much trouble and get into the system. And now they can see all of the objects that have now been shared with them. So the client view now in the blue screen here is what the client is actually seeing when they log in. So if they want to take a look, let's pop into company information, asset summary. And if we look at an asset summary, we should be able to see that it does have indeed of course, the data that's within that file, but also the watermark, which does have the dynamic information about who's logged in. And it does not give them the opportunity to download this because it's a view-only permission set that she has. All of the other clients that we added to that group now have a similar experience, so they're able to traverse the area that they have access to. So now we've basically, set up the entire thing. Clients are able to access it. As clients, start to do stuff inside of the system, it may be that we want to be able to capture that information, so we can use the reporting to do that. Let's take a look at that. Let's go back over to the admin side of things here. And we would go into settings, admin settings, account and reporting. And we have basic reporting, so you can get reports around things like usage, access, so who has access to what, access changes, if there have been any changes to the environment, storage detail, so this will really go into detail about the actual files and folders that are in the system. Storage summary, this is for storage zone data. for the account or user. And then if you're creating share links or request links, you can get reports on users, bandwidth detail, all kinds of different items you can report on here. But the one thing that's kind of new, or not new, but unique to the VDR subscription level is the ability to take a look at the click trails. So if I look at the click trails, I can see what's happening at the user level at a very fine-grained detail. So if I click on Bru's access here, her click trails, we can see all the time that she spent in the system from when she logged in, what she browsed. She logged in again here, she browsed some folders, and we can easily click to any of these locations by just clicking on the link, and it'll take us directly to that object. And so the click trails are kind of a nice feature so that you can see what people are interacting with. You have a good idea of when they saw what. So there's a pretty good accounting of what's been happening inside the system. You can also take a look at some reporting that's at the folder level. So we can take a look at project plaid folder. We go to more options and we choose VDR analytics. And this is going to show basically the things that have been happening inside of this account for various time frames. So if we move this out to 30 days, we can see additional items. This is a relatively new account, so there's not really a whole lot going on here, but as people join and hop into the account and start navigating and looking at things, you're gonna see a bunch of items here in the analytics area. And let's take a quick look at one more thing. You do have the terms and conditions that are set at the account level. So I'm trying to remember where we have that. Security policy. The terms and conditions that are set for this account are listed here. So when the clients log in for the very first time, Bru had actually logged into this account, so she didn't actually see this. But when a new client logs into the system for the first time, they have to agree to your terms and conditions if you decide to set this up inside the account. Just a quick note to support is all it takes to get this up and running for the account. Support can upload a customized set of terms and conditions for your specific account if that's something that you need to have in place for whatever reason. And that, I believe that's about it. There's not much else to it. You can take advantage of some other features inside of ShareFile. So we kind of covered at a high level, creating folders, adding, the documents that are in the folders. We covered creating the people that are going to be interacting with the environment, creating a group for those people to be able to assign folders, relatively easily. We covered the NDA templates so that you could actually create your own NDA template if you wanted to and send it out for signature. And we covered some of the reporting and some of the various features inside of the system that allow you to see what's going on at a pretty fine-grained level when it comes to user interaction with the system. So that's through the VDR analytics and through the various reporting mechanisms that we have. And that's really all there is to it. It's super easy to get this set up and running. We do have the customer success team. So if you wanted to engage with the customer success team, you're given a customer success engineer assigned to the account so that they can help you get the implementation done properly. So you're not left holding the bag there or trying to figure it all out on your own. And they can also set up some time to train you and your team on how to use the tool, and really does come in handy to help you get up and running quickly.